best way I can describe Crime Boss Rockay City is a organized crime roguelite payday style first person shooter with turf wars, action strategy as well, and ultimately it boils down to trying to take over Rockay City. You are a crime boss. You are trying to take over as many different things as you can within a certain period of time. You have a certain amount of resources each day, whether that's army, members of your team, upkeep, cash, but you have to be mindful because if you die with Baker, the main solo character, you will get reset back to the beginning. You level up your boss, but you will be able to go through and complete more runs, essentially like how a roguelite is. When you die, you keep some permanent upgrades that will help you on future runs, ultimately to be able to go through and claim all 30 areas of Rockay City. There are 3 different game modes. There is Baker's Battle, which is the main story mode, which you will end up playing solo. There is Crime Time, which is online multiplayer, where you can go in and do heists with friends. And there's also Urban Legends, which is 6 short mini campaigns that you can also do with your friends. The most amount of hours I put into the game was into the Baker's Battle, which is the roguelite element of the game. You will go up against 4 other gangs in, trying to get territory for the city. And then also on top of that, there'll be Chuck Norris, which is the law enforcement, and they will also be hunting you down as well. Missions will have varieties from robberies, jewelry heists, bank heists, the similar type of mission structure that you will see from the Payday games, and this is the game that I will be comparing this to most likely because I have played a lot of Payday compared to this. So yeah, that's where I'll be able to pull things from. You will have goals to complete, which is basically your entourage will give you different things, whether that's getting a certain amount of money to be able to upgrade your army that you have. You also have team members as well, and you have a certain amount of missions that your team members can go on per day. Essentially, if you go through and get some upgrades, you'll be able to go through and do multiple missions per day. And then also you have your army, which helps you take over turf. If there's a turf battle, it usually takes around 10 to 15 soldiers that you have, and you will go up in a little mini game where you will shoot the other team and essentially take over the turf. And then if a boss spawns as well, then you have to take them as well. The out of gameplay cycle is essentially go into a specific mission, get yourself set up with your teams. Your team members will have perks and traits, and you can give them different weapons and such, which will obviously cost cash, but you are basically managing what you can do per each day. And then when you go into the missions, you'll have a specific amount of objectives, like steal the loot. There's a bonus objective without being seen, or like alerting the guards, or being able to do different varying difficulties as it progresses. The cast of characters are as follows. There's Michael Madsen, who plays Travis Baker, Kim Basinger, Danny Trejo, Danny Glover, Chuck Norris, Vanilla Ice, Michael Rucker, and Damien Portier. And then there's a couple of other voices that get added in there as well, and they all add their different flavor to the little story cutscenes. But that's all I really want to talk about when it comes to gameplay and the overall look of the game, because this game is very disappointing. Unfortunately, the story, it doesn't make sense whatsoever. It's kind of incoherent. The dialogue is very cheesy and kind of cringe at times, and it feels like very forced, which I don't like. And especially it's trying to go for that 80s action movie type vibe and that gangster type vibe, but I feel like it's a little bit off base and doesn't really give you what you want from this specific amount of voice cast that we have, because there's a lot of people in here, and I feel like they spent a majority of the budget on this cast and not a lot into the ideas within the game, because when you actually get into gameplay, it's fairly decent. There's some decent gunplay, there's a good amount of mission variety, but once you've played through them all, the enemy variety doesn't really change, the mission objectives doesn't really change, and it kind of gets very boring very quickly. And I didn't really play too many run throughs. Obviously it's a bit different when you do the jewelry heists or the bank heists, but they kind of also play the same. There's a drill that you have to put down. There's nothing that really mixes up the gameplay, which is something that is a little bit disappointing. Now, I didn't get a chance to check out the Urban Legend short mini campaigns. I would like to, give some more time onto them as I'm, got a little bit of time over the next couple of days. I do like the whole roguelike element of the game where you essentially, when you die, you keep upgrades and you're able to take over the city quicker. I do like that aspect of it, and I think that it does that pretty well when it comes to, management and the out-of-game way that you manage your crime boss as a crime boss is pretty cool. And apparently there is going to be some post-launch plans for this game, but I would have to say this: if I have to give you my final verdict on the game, is just avoid this for now. I don't think it's going to be any hard hitters. I don't think it's the best game that's currently available to us right now. I know that the budget may not be the highest because it's coming from a smaller studio potentially, but it seems that they spent a lot of it on getting a really awesome voice cast when it comes to these different celebrities and like action icons, but it kind of just falls flat, which is a little bit unfortunate, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, especially with what the potential it could have had, and I just feel like it kind of didn't really hit the mark. So yeah, that's just my overall thoughts and opinions on Crime Boss Rockay City. I do want to take the chance to thank 505 Games for sending me a copy of the game. I did play it for a decent amount of hours, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure that whenever I cover something on the channel, I give you my honest thoughts and opinions, and that is how I felt about Crime Boss Rockay City. But as always, if this video has been helpful, please make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and turn on the notification bell as always. This has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.